see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to people who are calling us names. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Monday, June 17th, 2024, and this is episode 721 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Almost Done. I'll be chatting about this weekend's project, a little bait and switch that Corey and I experienced, an interesting commercial, and a little bit more. First, let's swing over into the live chat. See who's hanging out in the coffee crew. Grab a cup and hang out for an hour. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope everyone is doing well. I'm just getting everything rolling over here on the backside here. All right, almost done. Wasn't all layered up. Good morning, Rewilder Life. First in, and she says her ad was for a plant ID app. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, that at least is that is at least semi appropriate. I don't know if you actually how much you use that app, if your plant knowledge is high enough that you don't use it commonly. I have several on my phone. Some work, some don't. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Vertical feed rolling over there. Oh, do you actually use the app that they showed? And there must be some sort of premium version if they're advertising it, I suppose, unless there's some other deal going on. Vertical feed is up over there. Shorts feed. We'll see if we get the normal content or normal comments streaming through over there. Some of them are pretty interesting to go back and read when the show is over. I'll pop over there and look at the comments that dropped in early, and there's some interesting folks out there. So good morning, Mike's Homestead. Electronic Express ad for him today. That's I mean, at least showing Biden ads. I mean, that's and anti-gun ads and things like that. So that was they're getting there. We were wondering what if they were going to censor Friday's show from the koala biology lesson. Basically, it wasn't anything inappropriate in my eyes, but yeah, maybe but so far so good. It did say that one of the feeds. This is an interesting thing that I'm noticing with YouTube now that I'm running two feeds of the same broadcast, so one horizontally, one vertically. They never come back. Well, I shouldn't say never. There's a significant amount of time that they come back with different ratings. Ratings as far as advertisers. YouTube will do this thing where they'll be like, oh, the ad revenue is limited because of the content. Not all advertisers will want to advertise on your video or whatever. And what I get it. I don't want all advertisers on my shit either, but it's interesting that the exact same broadcast in a different layout provides different results. And it's not consistently that one or the other is flagged for, and it's not necessarily inappropriate comment or content. It's just not general enough, I guess, is the way to put it. It's hard to explain, but anyway, I would think that, man, all the vertical feeds, if all the vertical feeds were getting tagged for it and none of the horizontals were, or they both were on certain topics, it would be easy to figure out. But I don't know. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It's AI that's doing it. But the fact that the exact same broadcast peels back different results is interesting. Good morning, K-Bonk. How are you doing? Mike's Homestead says Trojan should be all over Friday's episode. Sorry, I heard something real quick. There's a bird outside the window and it's singing like mad. It's very loud and startled me. K-Bonk, good morning. K-Bonk uses Brave. No ads. Feel like I'm missing out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. What's in the cup today? Finishing up that bag of Ethiopian. I thought it was going to be done over the weekend. I did have one left, and then topped off my Bob jar. So Bob Brew might be after the show this morning before I head out to the property to do some more work. But in the cup this morning, we got light Ethiopian, and it's fantastic as always. The whole pound has been great. I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and but I'm looking forward to moving on to something new for another pound. That 9 presses in a row is about right. It's really gets you dialed into the flavor. You can almost, and the crazy part is the coffee from Food Forest Farms is so fresh. It's so freshly roasted that even in the time in the 6 to 9 days, I'm really dialing back to one French press a day, or trying to getting close. So eventually it'll be 9 days, but say 6 days over a 6-day period, you can taste a slight difference as the bag's been open, as it's oxidized, as it's gotten a little bit older. Not to where it tastes bad. It just, you can taste a slight difference. Try that with Folgers. Open up your Folgers, and 6 days later, tell me if it tastes a little different because it's changing because it's so fresh. No, you can open the Folgers and let it sit there for 6 months, and it will taste the same. It will taste the same because it's already stale when it gets to you. If you want to try some air roasted coffee, some micro batch air roasted coffee roasted by a real human being that puts his heart and soul into every pound, check out foodforestfarms.com. You can use coupon code LOTS10, LOTS10 for 10% off. That's a one-time use coupon. Or LOTS5, LOTS, the number 5, for 5% off every day, any day, all the time. Use it as many times as you want, forever and ever and ever, at foodforestfarms.com. Anything on the site. And it's not just coffee. They got other things there. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Foodforestfarms.com. Rewild Life said, added cocoa powder to the espresso maker today. Interesting. Is that something that, does that have to be like super clean now to keep that from bleeding off mocha flavor to the next batch? So like, or I mean, not that you dislike the mocha flavor, but if you made that and then your husband went and made a coffee, would it have the cocoa flavor, or is it added after, or is it actually a function of it where like a washing machine where you can put in the fabric softener and it just adds it as needed? Oh, clean the pot in between. Okay. Rewild making bacon and eggs for everyone today. Come on over. Bacon and eggs sounds fantastic. Bacon and eggs sounds absolutely fantastic. I'll be there in like 14 hours or more. Oh, it's just a stovetop espresso. Gotcha. Anyway, it's been warm here. I see Rachel mentioned in the Telegram group this morning she was head out to the garden early before the sprinklers got on to beat the heat, do it in the morning. And yeah, it's been warm here. I think it's been warm everywhere. I see that the Buffalo, New York public school system has issued, or they're doing half days, 4 days this week because of the heat. I'm surprised they're still in school. I thought New York schools were out about this time. Maybe they got a week left. Maybe they got 2 weeks left. I don't know. I don't know. I always remembered us being done mid-June in Western New York there. But obviously they're still in school because they just issued something to where they're going to be doing halvesy days because of the heat. So I beat the heat. Well, I didn't beat the heat. The heat beat me. The weather beat me this weekend. Not too bad. Not too bad. I didn't stay in and hide inside. I did work all day, both days this weekend, and I'll be back at it today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Mike's Homestead said in Connecticut it was mid-June. Yeah, so it's right around now. I remember maybe it was. No, I want to say graduation was like this next weekend, maybe. I don't know. That was a long time ago, and they've changed so much shit since I was in school. That was God. That was a long time ago. That was definitely a long time ago when we didn't get as many vacation days and half days and conference days and snow days and all sorts of shit. We just went to school. Rewiler Life said, I'm sold. We just sat in classrooms with fans on and sweated out. You had fans? you had fans in your classroom? We just opened the windows and hope for a breeze. Canadian Farmstead, good morning. Thanks for swinging in. Appreciate it as always. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the shed project this weekend. That's what I've been working on. And as the title said, it's almost done. Not quite. We, I'll talk about it in a second. But first, Corey and I experienced quite a big bait and switch the other day. I'm going to tell you about it real quick. So before that, two little announcements that I keep forgetting to talk about up front. SRF right now is a super, super deep discount. Canadian Farms says that making a career out of the shed project. Yeah, I really wish I wasn't. But you'll see. SRF right now, if you want to come in Camden, Tennessee, October 5th and 6th, I believe. 5th and 6th, I think was what Pip told me. October 5th and 6th, 2024, Camden, Tennessee. Self-Reliance Festival is going on. Directly prior to that, we'll be having a few work days and a community day out at Delinquent Scully, conjunction with Tim and Toolman Tim's workshop and the Lots Project and whoever else shows up. We're gonna have a couple of work days and then a social day. They'll be camping on site. And then SRF, as always, is lining up to be a fantastic event this fall. Lots of people coming down already, but early bird tickets, $50. $50. I think $50 is the lowest I've ever seen the early bird tickets. I think usually they're 70 or 75 just for early bird, but $50. It appears a sponsor committed to paying the difference for whatever tickets are bought from the kind of what I read. I didn't dig into it too much, but $50. You can't beat it. I don't know how long that's going on. I don't know if it's a limited number of tickets purchased or a time limit. It didn't really say in my notification, but SRF fall 2024, $50. I mean, shit. That's for a 2-day event with the speakers that are going to be there. $25 a day is a steal. Is definitely a steal. The community building, the information, the general atmosphere, and the fire that it'll light under your ass before, when you leave to get a bunch of shit done. Well worth $50. Well worth $50, and well worth $50 in a trip to Camden. So check that out. Link is in the video description. Link is in the audio description. Scroll down there. If you use that, I do get a little cut. It is an affiliate link, so appreciate that. The other thing that I keep forgetting to announce up front is comfreeroots.com. We have our sale going on for another couple weeks here till the end of June. Share the love sale. Buy one, get one. 2 separate packages in one. You get 2 of the vacuum packed root packs in one, shipped out to you, so you can hand one off to your friends, your neighbors, your church friends, your somebody you see at the grocery store, book club, co-worker, enemy, frenemy, or just hold on to it yourself and plant some extra comfrey plants. Comfreyroots.com. Go ahead and head on over there and grab one of those BOGO offers. Ends at the end of June. So those are the 2 announcements I had. Excuse me. Hunter over on Twitch. Thanks for stopping. So the other night, I talked about the fact that Corey and I have been that we watch Amazon in the evening. We watch Amazon Prime shows, old TV shows or movies or whatever, kind of in that downtime before bed. And so the show we've been watching currently is Chicago Fire. I talked about how it's what I watched way back when it was on live. Corey would go to bed and I was working a wonky shift, and so I'd stay up and watch it. And so I remember I liked it. I only watched the first season, maybe 2. I recalled I liked it, so we started watching it from the beginning, and I liked it again, and Corey liked it. So we've been watching it along and watching a couple episodes here and there every night. And when we got to I think there's 7 or 8 seasons for Freevee. I think it's called Freevee. Everybody's up in arms and shit about the commercials on Prime and blah, blah, blah. And you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The service is what it is. We deal with it. We use it for the Prime membership on the shopping side, and we get the whatever. It is what it is. But anyway, I think there's 7 seasons on this Freevee where there's commercials in it, 3 commercials. It's not really bad, actually. But we're watching along, and I talked about the cliffhanger episodes, and I always make Corey stay up late, and I'm like, oh my god, it was the cliffhanger. It was the last episode of the season. We need to watch the next episode. It's right there. All we have to do is hit play. Remember when we used to have to wait 6 months to watch that next one? Remember when we had to wait a whole week to find out what happened? We can just watch it. So let's just watch it. And I end up making her stay up late. But the other day, we get to the end of the episode. It was the end of a season. It was a cliffhanger for sure, a big old cliffhanger. But it was early. It wasn't like we were staying up late. I believe it was Friday night or Saturday night. We party hard. We watched Chicago Fire on Prime and go to bed at 9:00. But so we're watching it, cliffhanger episode. And then there's it's the transition into the next show. We're sitting there, we're bullshitting, talking about what happened in the episode, and the next show starts. We're sitting there watching it, and I don't know if you've seen Chicago Fire, but it's a story about Chicago, one of the houses of the Chicago Fire Department. One of the shifts in one of the houses of the Chicago Fire Department. And through the story, they involve more of the Chicago Police Department every episode. It seemed like the more episodes went through, the more the cops were kind of in it. There were a few main cop characters that were interacting. One is a brother of one of the firefighter paramedics. And and so we're used to seeing these cops. Actually, one of the firemen is married to one of the desk sergeants. There's definitely storyline overlaps with the Chicago Police Department. And so this episode starts, and it's going on, and it was really bad. It was really bad episode, and I was like, Jesus, This show went really downhill. When are they going to show the fire department? It was just all these stories about the cops and what's going on in the department. I was like, oh man, are they really merging the show this much? Corey and I are all confused. We're looking back and forth. It got about 15 minutes in, and we're like, what's going on? What is going on? And so we click off the thing, and it was Chicago PD was the show that was on. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? We were watching Chicago Fire. The episode ends and the next episode starts, and now it's Chicago PD. What? And the show is horrible. Like these guys are okay in the other show, but when they were all on their own in this and adding in their supporting cast, it was really bad. We were like, no, we're done. Well, what happened was so it played to the end of the season. The first episode of Chicago PD, excuse me, the first episode of the next season was a cliffhanger recap from the season before, and that wasn't free on Prime. That wasn't available. So one episode at the beginning. So they just slow rolled it right into a different show, a related show. So when we backed out and went to the next season of Chicago Fire and went to episode 1, there it is. Now it keeps playing again. Those fuckers tried to get me to watch Chicago PD without me clicking on it. They're just like, oh yeah, they won't even notice. And it only took us like 6 minutes, and we were like, this show sucks. Back to Chicago Fire. Watch out, guys. Watch out. The bait and switch is out there. It will sneak up on you when you least expect it. So we were glad we got that figured out, and we're back on track with our Chicago Fire. But it's it's getting far enough into the series where the series is getting there. It's every show. And I don't know if it's they run out of storylines. I don't know if they run out of the writers change. The writers get bored with it. The actors get big heads or whatever the reason is. It seems like the majority of television dramas take a turn for the worse in that like 4th to 5th year. Reality shows is 3rd to 4th year from what I've noticed, and that's I think because people have watched it. At that point, the people that are on it have watched it and they're trying. Like the first season, you can't beat it because it's a new show and nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Even if it's a knockoff of a reality show that's already been on, no one knows what's going on, so they can't try to be that character. By the 3rd season and into the 4th season, any reality show, anybody that's on it is applying for it because they've seen it, and they're trying to be the guy. They're trying to be the girl. So, yeah, there's a TV watching tip for you guys. Reviler Life's wondering if it's propaganda to join the fire or the police department. I don't know. Speaking of that, in one of the episodes in the season following that, they were doing promo videos for the fire department in the episode. So maybe, I don't know. Good for them. Yeah. So that was our bait and switch. And we felt violated. Like, we didn't choose to watch this. Why are you putting it on our TV? So the weekend project. So you guys know I've been battling this shed project, mainly because it's not in the right location. This is not the right shed. It's not the right terrain. It's not the right place. It's not the right anything. But the shed was offered to me, and it didn't make sense to put it anywhere else. I mean, it did make sense to put it somewhere else, but at this particular juncture, it was appropriate. it was appropriate to go through the struggle to put it where we are. I'll talk about in a second what it how it changes things for us. But Canadian Farm says that based on your watch history, we can put any old crap on and you'll watch it. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And thanks, Rachel. She says it looks cool though. Yeah, and so I struggled with the foundation. We went back and forth between the platform or the cinder block, just edge foundation. Whether I wanted to dig out the inside or make it level and back and forth, and just tons of labor trying to save some money. I think if I had to do it again, and when I do my my review video and my walkthrough videos and stuff, I'm definitely going to suggest building a wooden platform. That I think with this project is probably the easiest way to go. It was more money than we wanted to spend compared to the cinder blocks. Now, as I look back to it, that probably cost us a lot of days. I'm sure the shed would have been done already. If we had just gone with the wooden frame or the wooden platform for the base. But we're making it work. Made some quick decisions, and it is what it is. Probably got a day left. Not a day, probably a half a day. We've run into some issues, and I got to thank up front. I got to thank Jamie from Off Grid Ping. Man, he was out there with me 2 days, Saturday, Sunday in the heat. We're in full sun where we're sitting, where we're putting this up, and it was a burner for sure in the sun. It was warm. The warm was warm, but I think the really topped it off was the full sun. And so I appreciate him battling through that with me to help me put this up. I'm into a point where I'm pretty much, I think I'm solo from this point out. Yeah, let's talk about where we're at and the issues that we've kind of had. Fairly, I would say this thing is, well, Jamie said that. So Jamie's put together 3 of these things now. This is the 3rd one he's helped put together. He's got one, a friend has one, and now this one. He said this one's gone together smoother than the other 2. Bolt holes or screw holes, pre-drilled screw holes and everything line up better. Pieces have lined up better. The panels are a more appropriate size and just line up better. So that's nice. And it has gone pretty smooth. The direction said 3 to 4 people, minimum of 2, preferably 3 to 4, 7 to 10 hours in a day. 7 to 10 hours one day. I don't know. I think, well, I told Corey, if we had 4 people and 2 sets of tools, we could have had it done in a day. The bulk of the time in this project is putting in the almost 700 little tiny screws and washers. That really is the bulk of the process. I think if we had to dick around more with getting stuff to line up, and that's what I'm finishing up today, it would have taken a lot longer. Canadian Farm says, do they state the IQ of the individuals needed? No, they don't, but I think you do need a degree in IKEA directions. That is one of the things on my list here. Not a whole lot of direction other than pictures, and not a whole lot of there's some directions in the instruction manual that I feel could have been placed in a different order. Like when you get to step 12, when you get to step 12, and it's like, you can place the panels with the windows wherever you want. Here's how you build, here's how you install the window frames and the windows into the panels. And they can be replaced for any of these other panels that are the same size. And here are the different formations you can do it. You can put them on either side of the doors. You can put them both on one side. You can put one on either side. You can put one here, one there. And they have 4 different diagrams of different ways you can set the windows up. Well, we installed half the panels that they could have replaced about 6 steps earlier. So at this point, really, you had 2 walls you could have put them on, which it is fine. It is what it is. But don't show that you can put the window panel in where there's already been panels installed 6 steps earlier. So that was one issue, because I might have wanted to put them on the front, but it is what it is. It lets light in. It's really cool that it has windows. Jamie's doesn't have windows. Jamie's doesn't have skylights, and he said that he wished they did. Mona from the chat is, I think she nailed it on the sizing. Canadian Farm says you didn't read the instructions all the way through before you started. Yes, I did multiple times. But when we started the build and we went step by step, yeah, it did. It said, and I read, and Corey went through them and made sure we had all the parts and did all that, because that's what it said too. But when you go and you are building the structure and you're following the instructions, it didn't say in step 14, when you're building it during step 6, you're going to want to skip ahead and put these windows together. A logical instructions would have said, here at step 4, you put the window frames in the window panels. Now you have these ready to put it wherever you want. Like that's the kind of bullshit that's there. So yeah, I did. I read the instructions through multiple times. But Mona nailed it the other day when I was saying that and I had to redo the foundation again, that the base wasn't 12 by 10. It was like 11 8 by 9 8. And she mentioned in the Telegram chat that it's probably the roof overhang that brings that to brings that to that 10 by 12. There's a 2-inch overhang on each side. So good thinking there. And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh yeah. Canadian Farm says the company should pay you to remake the instructions. I actually have experience in writing manuals and instructions. I that was part of my job at that startup I worked for. Not my favorite thing to do, but it pays well. It pays well. Manual writing pays well. So maybe I'll reach out. I'll be like, you know what, your instructions are all jacked up. You want me to do it better? So there was that. Let me see what else on my notes from the build this weekend. So all the screw holes on these ones, all the screw holes have lined up pretty well. They have pre-drilled holes in all the pieces. So both the panels and the frame and everything, and they're lining up fairly well. Struggling with 2 different things. One of them was where any of the frame pieces overlapped. So when it ships in the mail like that, you can only have certain length pieces. And to span a 12-inch ceiling support, roof support, you need to bolt things together. To span a 12 or 11-foot 8-inch side support, you need more than one piece. So when you bolt them together, they overlap. That is really the only place where I was having the screw holes, having issues with them line up. And it's probably because we were going through 3 pieces. The 2 pieces were really went fairly well. It's just a lot. It's a shitload of screws. K-Bong says, how are the nuts? Are they loose? I left the bolts and nuts loose to the step that they said tighten them up. Yeah, I definitely followed those instructions. I've made that mistake before. The bottom rail frame was screws. The top rails, the roof supports were bolts. The roof supports lined up great until the end. And I know why they're off right now, and that's why I had to pack it in yesterday at the end of the day. So the overlap pieces are where really the only place we really struggled to get them to line up, and a tiny drill bit and tapping a new hole in those places was wholly appropriate. It was no problem. Even if I had left those screws out, I think we would have been fine. Like literally every one of these metal panels has 12 of these screws in it. It seems a little excessive, but maybe it'll stay. Maybe it'll stay nice and snug. So everything's gone fine right now. So Saturday we got to the point where it was up. It was solid a structure enough to leave overnight. We weren't supposed to have any crazy storms. We weren't supposed to have any rain. We weren't supposed to have high winds. And it was pretty solid. It wasn't going anywhere. So we had the front and the back on. We had the frame. We had the top frame. And we left it for the day. Jamie had his kids on the weekends. So we worked half a day in the morning. We got out there early. I stayed a little later. I prepped anything I could do by myself. So I prepped like the ceiling support rails, and I put the windows in the panels and all that shit. So I went through the directions and found out the stuff I could do without having 2 sets of hands. And then we got back at it yesterday morning. At the end of yesterday, same deal, noon-ish, he went to check on his boys. And I said, dude, we're good. I was working on the roof, and the roof is the roof you can do one person. Unless you have 2 ladders and 2 screw guns and everything, it's pretty much the panel goes up and it lines up or it doesn't, and you screw it in. And so I was just kind of working away at that. I had about 8 panels left when he took off, and I was putting them in and got to the last 3 panels, and I had 2 things going on. One, I was done. I was working up on top of this thing with the black roof for about 4 hours at that point, in the sun, in the full sun. So that was pretty warm. These panels actually got too hot to grab. At that point, they were getting very uncomfortable. Like I feel like I singed some of my fingertips at some points grabbing some of them, and the tools also, my screw gun and the drill that we had for a little cheater drill. If they got left on top of the roof panels, when I went to pick them up, it burned my hand. Like I had to put them inside the shed to sit in the shade for a few minutes before I could actually physically pick up the drill and hold it, because the handle's black. It was hot. So that was one indicator that it was probably time to wrap it up and just and leave this to the next day. Like if it hadn't have been 95 and sunny both days, we probably would be done by now. We probably would have, if it had been a nice cool fall day or something like that, we could have probably got it done in a day, I would think. Lots of water breaks and things really slow things down. But that was one of the signs it was time to go home. The second sign was I went to put the last panel on one half of the roof. So as you build the roof, you put 3 or 4 panels on, and then there's a roof cap you got to put on so you can still reach. And then you put a few more panels on, you put another roof cap on, and you're doing that on both sides as you're coming across. Well, I got to the last section, and one side has these. One side has skylight panels, optional skylight panels. And at this point, after I put them in, I would say I don't want them anymore. The skylight panels are a different shape than the metal panels. They're different corrugation. They're different. It's just different. They also didn't have any pilot holes drilled in them, and Jamie and I were both concerned that when we went to drill put the screw through them, that it would crack them. So we used one of the other panels as a template and drilled the pilot holes that where they should line up. So you have to use 2 of these things to replace one of the panels. And you can do them next to each other. You can do them kind of offset, far apart, but they have to be on the same side. Well, when I got to the end, the second to last metal panel on the roof, on that side of the roof that I was putting the skylights in, things weren't square. I had noticed they were kind of running off a little bit after the first skylight panel, but not enough that I couldn't wiggle it enough and get the screws in. Everything was going in fine. I put the second skylight in, and the panel after that was significantly off. Still on the rail, but just barely be able to see the pilot holes and get the screws in. When I went to put on the next one, it was blatantly obvious that these skylight panels had thrown it off of square enough that over the 12-foot run of the panels, it had just kind of it had run itself down a little bit. So where it ended up, the last 2 screws on the front panel don't excuse me, don't touch the rail. So I was sitting there contemplating whether I line it up at the bottom, because I have to put a trim piece across the bottom, and there's a roof cap that covers the top, but I don't have any way to affix like a couple of the screws. I'm thinking that I can affix 2 of them, and then the end rail will affix fine on the front panel. It's hard to explain, but then the roof cap will cover that gap. Or I have to slide it up far enough and figure out if the trim that runs across the edge of the bottom will cover up the offset panel on the bottom, because all the bottoms are flush all the way across, even though they're running in a slight angle. It's all even. And then if I push this panel up to hit to where I could put all the screws in, there's like probably a quarter to a half-inch gap. So I was trying to run through this all in my head, and I was exhausted. It was like heat exhaustion, just tired, in the sun, looking at it, all the hot pieces. And I was like, I'm not going to make the right decision at this point. I need to go home. I need to eat. I need to have dinner. I need to hang out. Think about it a little bit more, come out in the morning when it's going to be 75, 80, and look at it and think it through. Take the other pieces, put them up, kind of see. And the reason I'm confident that it was the skylight panels that sent it running off is the other side is perfectly square. I popped the other 2 panels up just to check, and they are perfectly square. And the only difference is this is the skylight panels. It's the same center rail. It's the same setup on both sides. And it is what it is. And I'm trying to avoid taking all the panels off the roof and doing it again. I'm trying to avoid that. I don't think I will be doing that, but you never know. You never know. I'll see if I can get it to cover up. Of course, it's the K-Bonk says square frame problem, maybe. No, everything's good. It's those skylight panels being not quite the same. So the ridges of the metal panels on either side of these plastic skylight panels, they don't seat in right. And I didn't have to. I realized after the fact that I didn't have to. It didn't have to drill the pilot holes in the plastic. These tiny little screws went through it just fine. So I think drilling the pilot holes and then using the pilot holes to line the panel up instead of making sure the ends were square, I think that's where my problem was. The first one was a little off, and then the second one was more off. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is what it is. It'll be functional regardless. Either way, it'll just be what it looks like. And the fact that I'm going to be running gutters on the edges, running a collection tarp, rainwater collection tarp on the edge, and doing other things around it isn't really going to, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. So basically I got 3 panels to put up, or 3 roof panels to put up. I have the 2 doors to build and hang. This is a swinging doors. This shed, the doors swing out. They're not like the sliding doors that always get hung up and get bound up when you try to open them and close them. So I'm excited about that. They are actually hinged and they swing open out the front. I have trim to put around the edges so you don't cut your head if you hit the panel. I've only cut myself once in the whole process, which is really good for me because I wasn't able to wear gloves because the damn screws are so tiny. The screws are tiny. The washers for the screws came in little cards. So it was like 12 little washers, little plastic washers in these cards that have little tabs in between them. And you had to bust them all out and then get them onto the screws. So that was interesting. It's been an experience. Would I buy another one? I probably would just, if I wanted to build this structure, this same size structure, 10 by 12 or whatever, shed, I would probably just end up buying the metal and do it like pole barn style. Posts, purlings, and steel, and not thin steel. Like go get some steel for like a pole barn and just make a mini pole barn. I think if I had to do it again, I'm not sure how the costs roll out on that. I would have to see, but I think it would be just less sticking around for sure. And then you could do a lot of different things with the floor and the inside. So shed, it is what it is. It is what it is. Jamie said it was cheaper than the one he did. He likes the style, how well it went together, the fact that it has windows and skylights and all of that. For I think he said it was like $100 or $200 less than the one he bought. So it is what it is. For a backyard shed, if you got a suburban lot, if you have a lot or someplace where you can easy access and you can build a frame, or you have a super level spot that you can lay out pavers or pour a concrete pad or something like that, I think this shed it's a winner. There's just some things to watch out for when you're building it. And I'll be doing a video about that. The things I learned, the things that went easy, the things I do different, and tips that I have for it. So hopefully finish today. We'll see. Hunter says windows in a metal shed is crazy to me. They're poly windows or plexiglass windows with a frame. It's nice. It lets light in for sure. Definitely lets light in. Are you talking so people can't see in? I don't know. I think it's going to be really nice to be able to have that. Oh, and mine has vents. Mine has 4 ceiling vents in the peaks in the front and the back. So, Jamie said that should help a lot with moisture. He says he gets a lot of moisture in his in the morning and the temperature swings, and he doesn't have any sort of vents or anything. So double scammer over on Twitch today, Hunter. Do you see that? Yeah. So scattered chance of thunderstorms today, a little cooler. I'm gonna head out regardless and hopefully knock this out and finish this project up. What this does for us, this shed is really important. This project is going to be probably the longest drawn out project that we have to do. Obviously the cabin will take a long time to build and everything like that, but what the shed really does is it allows us to now go out and stay out at the property for like a weekend. Not just the shed. We're not staying in the shed, but we have a bunch of stuff. We have all our stuff with us. The majority of the time it's in the bed of the truck or inside the camper. Well, I need the bed of the truck to haul material to use as a truck bed. We needed a place to put our stuff. We couldn't just unload it outside the camper and then go away for 2 or 3 days and leave it outside. I wasn't going to constantly be unloading it and loading it into the camper or taking it out to Tim's property and setting it and tarping it all and then putting it back in the truck when we need it. So having this shed and being able to offload all our stuff that is just our preps, our tools that, just road stuff when we were traveling more, getting all of that out of the truck and getting it into a shed. And the fact that Tim has his cabin out there and has graciously allowed us to stay out there. Now this puts us on site for 2 days or 3 days, where it's a 5-minute walk over to work on the property instead of a half an hour drive. It allows us to scoot out of here after Corey's done with work on a Friday and come back on Sunday night, or take a Friday and Monday off and get 4 work days. It allows Corey to come out and us to take the dogs out there and not have to worry about them back at home. A place for them to get cooled off inside at Tim's with the portable air conditioner. So a lot more work, a lot less driving, a lot less wasted time. And I think a lot more progress as this happens. So getting these panels on, getting the doors on, and then getting our stuff transferred into the shed is a huge step into getting the cabin rolling. Next step is going to be keep clearing the build site. That kind of went on pause when I started the shed project, and that was on a timeline because of video that I am obligated to make a video because they gave it to me for free. And I'll make a bunch of videos because I'd love to sell one of these or a bunch of them because it's a good product. From other experiences I've had with similar type projects and similar type buildings and like pre-drilled parts and just different projects, putting them together like that, this has been relatively smooth. I think some of the things are probably could have been avoided if I had thought them through a little bit more. But it is what it is. Getting it done. We're going to keep clearing the site. I got a bunch more trees to drop. We got a bunch of brush to clear down. and get that grass beat down and really get it nice and I don't want to say manicured, but ready to work. Smooth some places out, get some stumps out of the way here and there, and this and that. I have a 12 by 20 tarp garage, a soft side garage to put up to store materials as we're accumulating materials for each step of the cabin build, and that will go up next. It should go good. This is a linchpin project, and as it's wrapping up, it really changes things significantly. So we're excited about that. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about being done. I never imagined it would be so much monkey fucking around to get it going. But when you try to drop a shed that's intended to go in a suburban backyard in the middle of unimproved raw woods, it takes some doing, I guess. Takes some doing. So figured it out. We'll get it done and we'll roll on. I got one last thing here to wrap up with. Corey, another back to Amazon. And I've seen this a couple times, and every time it makes me laugh. It cracks me up. So I was talking about we watched Chicago Fire, and it's on Freevee or whatever. So we have commercials, about 3 or 4 commercials per episode, and they're usually the same. They replay the same ones. And there's this one that has just made me laugh every time I watch it. So, and it made me laugh for a messed up reason. So, like Pip and Hunter, you guys will appreciate this. So, the commercial starts out. The commercial's for Alexa, the house spy, the hey Alexa, do this, do that. I don't know if any of you guys use it. I don't use it. I've never had anything that I've hooked up Alexa to. But anyway, it's a commercial for Alexa, and it really shows the versatility and the functionality of who could really benefit from this. So it shows it's not erectile dysfunction commercial, no. And so it starts out with a quadriplegic guy, and he's in his wheelchair because that's where they hang out. And he's kind of driving or using his thing. He's driving around his chair, and he's saying, "Hey Alexa, good morning, John Palmer. How's it going? Hey Alexa, turn on the lights." And the lights come on, and he's like, "Hey Alexa, put elevator." He's got elevator in the house. Put elevator to first floor, and his whole house is smart wired, and so the elevator comes to the first floor, and he drives in. Like this is life changing stuff for this guy. Like this makes his life easier. And so he goes through a bunch of different commands, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm watching. And the first time I watched it, I put my head down, and this guy is the guy's voice, obviously. I put my head down, and I'm like listening, and I was like, my attention span for the commercial is about, a quarter of it. So he's doing more commands, and Alexa, turn on the oven, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the last one, he goes, "Alexa, turn on dance music." And my head fucking snaps up. Like, wait, what? The quadriplegic guy says, "Alexa, turn on dance music." Now, it is kind of appropriate, because on the actual video, his wife and kids were there, and they were having like a little dance party in the in the living room, but I wasn't watching it when the first time I saw it. And I go, hey, Corey, isn't that fucked up? they got that guy's turning on dance music, and I could just picture him rocking back and forth in his chair. But yeah, his family was there, and I think he was having I think they were having an evening dance party with the kids. But I was like, really? They couldn't have left that one off the end. The commercial was really powerful, and like they presented a great use case for this technology for me. I was like, okay, I'm on board. And then they throw that fucker at the end, and I'm like, come on, really? Hunter said it did its job, and you paid attention. But I don't know. I don't know how many people would have that would clicked in their head. I'm a different kind of special, man. Like those things are like fire sirens in my head when I see shit like that or hear shit like that. Like, wait, dance music? Come on. So anyway, we're at the end here. Oh man, I missed oh wow. I missed a lot of a lot of messages over there. Katie, I'm sorry, over on the vertical feed. What's this about? It's about my life. It's about my life for sure. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap up. We're a little over an hour here. We got to get rolling. I got to get my morning going. I got some things to do, and then back out at it to try to finish up the shed. We'll see. We're close. I was able to keep some stuff in it back in the back in case it rained last night. I don't think it did. But today, scattered thunderstorms, 35% chance or some stupid shit. But a little cooler. Only supposed to be in that mid 80s, so about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. So that'll be nice. And if it's overcast and not blazing sun in the full sun working up on that roof, it will be a little better for me. But we'll get it done regardless. We will get it done regardless. It's I was telling Jamie yesterday that 95 and in the full sun working is 1,000% better than negative 30 and 30 mile an hour winds. So I'll take it. I will take it. Hit the thumb, like K-Bonk says. Rewilder says, get shit done. Bye, everyone. Bye, Corey. Have a great day. Rachel, K-Bonk, everybody that's hanging out this morning. I appreciate you hanging. And as always, I appreciate everyone listening. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit the like, share, and subscribe to return value for value. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. You can visit thelotsproject.com or comfreeroots.com for all the information about me, partner companies, affiliate codes, discount codes, this, that, and the other thing. Or to get your Comfrey Roots Share the Love discount code for buy one, get one free till the end of June. Other than that, guys, it's Monday. It's going to be a great week. We're going to have fun on the show. We're going to get a bunch of shit done. You're all going to get a bunch of shit done too. Have an awesome day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.